I'm so sorry to stop the delightful, lovely music. Fun fact, that was one of my wedding songs, My Wish. And I thought, what better way to start off our webinar than to send all of my best wishes to everyone out there in the wonderful world of school food service. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on vending excellence, process, procedure, and practice. My name is Amanda Venencia, and I'll be hosting this webinar with you today. But we are going to start on time. Congratulations to all the people who got in on time. We are not going to wait for anybody. We have tons of content, so we are going to plow right through. I'm so happy that you're here today, and let's get started. I've got a lot to review. I'm going to start my timer so that we can have time for questions at the end. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, rather. My name is Amanda Venencia. I live in the great state of New Hampshire, but I'm not like from New Hampshire, folks. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. I moved to New Hampshire for a boy, but it's working out. We have 2 kids, and I like them today. So welcome to this webinar. I am also the Vice President of Sales for Vend-ucation, and we're going to be talking today about vending. It was my favorite program that I ran as a director. I was a director for 11 years in this state of New Hampshire, and it was by far my favorite program that I ran in our district in Londonderry. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, but let me tell you what we're going to do together today with, get it? Our time together. Guys, get excited. I'm really funny. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my vending story, and through that retelling, I am hoping to inspire you, to give you some great questions to ask yourself as you are either starting to think about adding vending to your school district or expanding your vending program and thinking about other ways in which we can use these automatic service modules that don't require a person to be on present 100% of the time to expand into other aspects of your school building or expand your product offerings. So we're going to talk about process, what kind of things you need to think about when you are starting something like this. Procedure, which is my personal favorite. Aren't we all standard operating procedure experts when we work in school food service? We're trying to put systems together and then teach those systems to other people so that they can replicate those consistently, right? And that's the key word. And with that expertise, so that we're fulfilling a consistent product with quality and timeliness to our customers. Then we're going to do some tips, and I'm going to inspire you with some real pictures of vending in schools and some national trends that I'm seeing across the country. And I'm going to save some time for question and answers. But forgive me, folks, I am quite passionate about this, so passionate about vending that I made it my full-time existence and job. And I am absolutely pleased to be able to help school districts across the country when they are considering adding this in. Couple of housekeeping notes. You guys are all on mute. You're welcome. No, you guys are all on mute there. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put those into the lovely, wonderful Zoom. There is a chat function. There is a Q&A button. Go ahead and click that in. As soon as you see that question, I'm going to try to leave tons of time at the end for questions. But if I don't get to your question, I'll get to you at some point. Put your name and your contact information, that email. I'll get back to you when I can, because there are so many different little nuances to vending. And just like school districts across the country, no 2 districts are the same. No 2 schools are the same. So no 2 vending procedures are going to be exactly alike, because we have different needs. We have different students. We have different demographics of customers, and we have different levels of staff that are fulfilling these needs to our customers. So go ahead and put that in. I'm super responsive and very nice. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my vending story. I told you I came from a school in New Hampshire. It's called Londonderry, folks. 6th largest in the district, right? Well, 6th largest in the state. Okay, so I had what? What do you think? 40,000 kids, 20,000 kids? Yeah, no, not really. Nope. 3,800 students, folks. 3,800 students. And I can't tell you the last time it was fully staffed. If anyone's looking for a job, londondairy.org. But these 36 employees were absolutely fantastic. We went through some amazing times together. We went through that, that 5-letter word of that time, which we do not speak. But I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into what our days look like. This is my office in New Hampshire. It's lovely, right? I just can't say enough about this shoebox of an office with no windows that I worked in. But this is just a little bit of insight. Yes, I have a cherry Coke problem, but this is the world that we live in each and every day, right? If there's any small or medium-sized district directors, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we're going to pause right here because we're just at the time where we've got probably mostly all of the folks that are going to be joining us today. And I just want to start with a small poll. And if you guys can just click on one of these answers, I just want to know, what about you? I've told you about me, you know who I am and kind of what I did. Tell me, do you have a program that you guys are doing? And when I say self-op, I mean, is dining or food services or nutritional services, are you guys servicing those vending machines? Is there a vending machine that somebody owns, like the principal or the athletic department, and you're like, I could totally do that? Or are you like, this is an active discussion and it's happening? And you know what, my industry friends, you are so welcome to be here. I just want to know who you are, to say hello. We love to share information about the opportunities and the potential for vending. Okay, so some of the results are in here, and we've got, oh my gosh, still trickling in. It's pretty even. One more or two. I'll give you 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. You got a whole minute. Okay, here's the results for our first poll. It looks like we have a lot of people who do have some vending that they're doing in their schools right now. Fantastic. Some people are looking for some vending programs, and we have a lot of newbies. Don't you worry, fun folks. We will absolutely get to you. All right, so here's what happened. I was working in a district, and I would go out into the lunchroom, and I would see that out of every 4 kids, 3 children had a meal in front of them. So given that math, it would mean that my participation would be what, 75%, right? Yeah, not so much. But the question is, why is it only 40%? 40%? Like, why? Where are the kids? What's going on? I had to find my kiddos. I didn't know where they were. I didn't know what was going on, and I had to figure out where they were. And I found them in a couple of different places, okay? So go to the band room. Go to the band room, folks, because guess what? Those kids would way rather jam with their friends than come all the way across the campus to the cafeteria for lunch. They're going to bring a bag lunch. They're going to not want to traverse across campus and then wait in line for that hot meal service. Plus, they're got things to do. They're practicing, and it was the furthest point away from our cafeteria. So definitely take a look at that. They're also with their favorite teacher. We had several teachers that were hosting little lunch meetings, and most of those kiddos, again, had lunch from home or weren't eating anything. And isn't that a tragedy in and of itself? And, basically kind of wherever their friends are, doing some one-on-one tutoring, working in the career center, even working in a library. I actually was on site with a director, and we found 20% of her kids that were supposed to be in the lunchroom actually in the library. And she didn't know that the librarian hosted some sort of group every single day that was taking 20% of her customers away from the location in which she was serving. Okay, so what am I going to do, right? I know that my kids are not here. I need to get to my kids. What did I think I was going to do? I really had no idea. So I looked into a couple things. I looked into like breakfast kiosks. I looked into taking over the school store. And then I thought of it. I said, well, what about vending machines? Now, the great thing about the automated vending machine is that I'm going to stock it, and then it's going to be available all day. So one of the things that I was looking at was, how do I better serve our student athletes? And we had every single sport in every single division category you could possibly imagine. We had a JV football team, a varsity football team, a freshman football team, an intramural. We had two robotics clubs. Two. I don't know what the difference was, but they were there. And those kiddos are on site in our schools well past the 1:30 mark when the majority of my staff is leaving the building. Additionally, there are people that are in our schools that we don't even ever realize because they're there and we're not, right? There are events that happen on the weekends. There are events that happen after hours. There are events that happen on school vacation. And guess what? We never know about it because, I mean, gosh, guys, no one really told me anything ever. So they certainly weren't telling me what was going on out of after hours. So I'm going to go through a couple of things that you want to think about when you're thinking about the process. Okay. The first thing is, what do you need? What do I need in terms of vending? How many places am I going to put this? What am I trying to do with this? Am I trying to provide a service for my athletes? Okay, great. Well, where are my athletes? Where's the student locker room? Are they practicing outside? Is there a field that's close by? Is this a secondary location? Then you want to think about, what am I going to put in them? Am I trying to sell more meals? Am I trying to look at breakfast meals, lunch meals, supper meals? I mean, we can't get staff to work during the day, let alone in the afternoon into the early evening. It's crazy. We're seeing a huge push in people utilizing vending machines for supper meals, and that is a great, great thing. What else? What processes do I already have in place that can easily be transitioned into vending? For example, do you have a lunchable, munchable, grab and go something that you're putting already in a container? That's fantastic. Let's put that right into a vending machine and give students access to those meals. If you have subs or sandwiches that you're doing on the line for lunch, let's put them in another container or even the container that you already have and get that into a vending machines. And then what are they buying for similar items? What restaurants, quick service and expanded, what's around you? Where are your kiddos going? What is the dining experience or the quick service food delivery that they're used to seeing? And how can you replicate that and do something a little bit better, do something healthier, do something that requires them to not leave their campus? And who do I need buy-in from? This is always a huge one. It's almost always the principal of that location, right? They rule the school, or so we let them think. But we need them to be on board. We need our custodians to be on board because they're emptying those trash cans. We need our teachers to be on board. For example, in Londonderry, we had to have a complete change because we needed teachers and the principals and admin to take away the rule of no eating in the classroom. And why was that especially important in my high school? Because of my breakfast kids. My high school students are not waking up to get to school on time, let alone to come early and have breakfast with us. I mean, we had delicious, delicious things like breakfast sandwiches and French toast sticks. Oh my gosh, they make the kitchen smell good. But they're not getting out of bed 1 second early. They're most likely coming in late. So we want to make sure that we are providing nutritional sustenance for those students so that they can take that food, convert it to energy, and then use that energy for the brain power in the classroom. So perhaps a change in culture might be necessary, and you will need the buy-in from that individual. For the 22% of folks that said, hey, we've already got vending machines somewhere on campus and someone has them, that's going to be a conversation perhaps. How can we work together? Hey, we're talking about doing this and we're going to be doing more fresh items. We are going to be doing things that are guaranteed to be Smart Snack approved, because how many folks have vending machines that maybe don't have those items and maybe they're on before 2 o'clock in the afternoon? It happens, folks. I've seen it. So these are all the things that you want to think about when you're talking about process. Now, procedure is a completely different piece, and this is probably going to be some new things that you're going to have to think about. So, who's going to make the product? Now, when I say make the product, this is anything from a bag of chips is a bag of chips, right? We're buying that for our a la carte line. We're just going to put that in the vending machine. But there might be some process or some labor that's assigned to this meal, to this a la carte item. For example, if you are selling the cold sandwich on the line on a tray, well, we can't put a tray in a vending machine, right? Perhaps we'll have to put that in like a 6x6x3 container. Who's going to fill the machines? Now, this is what everyone says. Amanda, labor, 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 labor. And I get it. I absolutely 100% do. However, the great thing about vending is it uses what I like to call non-peak labor time. When the kids are coming to the cafeteria, it is all hands on deck to get hot lunch out. I know everyone from our director down is on point, making sure that our lines are as efficient as possible and making sure that our students have access to a healthy lunch. We don't have time for a la carte a lot of the times. Some people have never brought a la carte back from pre-COVID. Like, absolutely. And I completely understand that point. However, when we bring in vending, we're able to bring in people that are able to work these non-traditional hours to service this unit that will work whenever you tell it to work, 24/7, or perhaps it's off for a couple hours in the morning like it was in my middle school because the middle school principal said so. I mean, it wasn't me, guys, right? But I said to my staff, even though we were short staff, who wants 2 extra hours? And of course, my most expensive cook, Stacy, said me. And I said, of course you do. And she said, and I asked her, well, when do you want to work? She said, well, when do you want me to work? Because that's a non-traditional question, right? When do you want to work? It's, here's when that work needs to be done. This work can be done in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. It can be done at any point within that day because we are filling that unit and then it is open for service, right? Fantastic. How often do I have to fill this machine? I get that question a lot. The answer is as often as you need to for your students. Now, there's a couple of numbers I can run through with folks. For example, in our high school with the service model we were providing with 1,200 students on site, I had 4 machines. The answer is the more machines you have, the less often you have to fill them. It also depends on where they are on your campus, because depending upon where they are, that will also impact you. We're doing great on time, folks. Great on time. So all these things you definitely want to keep in mind. What standard operating procedures do I need? Again, you might need something different because you're working with some different products. Maybe you're working with some different packaging. Maybe you're just taking exactly what you had on the line and putting it right into vending. Absolutely. Go ahead and make those new standard operating procedures. Add those items to your production list. If you are, for example, going to put a yogurt parfait in your vending machine with the yogurt, and it will require, right, a little bit of labor, some time, some effort, but we do it for our kids because we love them and they love yogurt parfaits and I love yogurt parfaits. So yogurt parfaits for everybody. And then how do I track dates? So I'm a little sneaky on this one and I'll share that with you. So when you go to the grocery store and they have the date that it was made, well, that is extraordinarily important. Why? Because we need to rotate that. And the first thing you want to make sure is that your staff is fully on board and understands the concept in full of first in, first out. Make sure that they are rotating, rotating, rotating. And with our vending units, very easy because that pushes those units to the front and then you load from the back. However, we need to know when something was made. So I'm a little sneaky and I have labels. So labels on which I would put the name of the item. Guess what I would do, guys? Sneaky, sneaky. I would write the word enjoy in 5 different colors. Those 5 different colors are directly from anyone who's ever worked in a restaurant and has ever used a day dot will know that blue is Monday. Of course, blue is Monday, and yellow is Tuesday, and red is red is Thursday. And this is a great way to have a covert code on your label so that we all know that that sandwich has been in there for 2 days and needs to be taken out of that vending unit, but we're not putting an actual date on it for a student. So that's my little sneaky. And then okay, it happens. They ran out of labels. Oh no, we've got to grab another sheet of labels. We only needed 2. I just gave them a Sharpie in every single color, and if they wrote a smiley face in a different color, that was the color that superseded the enjoy. I know, very sneaky. So a couple other things, cash, because there is cash in this vending machine. We did cash sales. It's very important who's going to empty that cash, because cash it's sneaky. It likes to run away, right? So you need to have a process by which you are able to look and see what the machine has made, and then we would have a sheet. So we would have that person remove the money from that sheet. They would have to log it onto the sheet of how much money was turned in. There was a second person that counted that money, and then we would be able to reconcile that, because we get audited, right? Every summer, the nice auditors come and ask us a bajillion questions about how we run our business and how we're maintaining our fiscal responsibilities with lots of money that's going through our hands. So definitely something to take into account. So the best way to really get into the procedures for vending is to do it, is to have a plan, to enact it. And of course, everything is 100% going to work out fantastically and perfectly in our minds. But we know reality can be a different story. And not only are there things that we are going to have to adjust internally with our staff, but also our customers and folks who are purchasing those items can throw us curveballs sometimes. So there could be items that we were putting in our machine that just don't fly with kids. Anyone ever had a menu item that they thought was going to be absolutely phenomenal, and the kids were like, no thanks, crazy person, that is not going to work for me? So all right, I'll tell you a quick story. I have time. So I had chicken lettuce wraps, and I love chicken lettuce wraps. PF Chang's, oh my gosh, I will get the chicken lettuce wraps every time. But what did my high school students think? This was not enough on a plate for me. They wanted more plate coverage, and they were not willing to sacrifice quantity for something, even though it was excellent quality. So definitely survey your students, take a look at your reporting, take a look at everything that you have going on in your vending machines so you can make better choices. For example, if the smart food is out every day, but you always have sour cream and onion chips, what are we going to do? We're going to swap those around. So just be open to the fact that this is definitely a process that requires a little bit of attention, especially in the first little bit as you are seeing what your menu mix is really going to be in terms of that. Okay, so I'm a crazy person. I'll just leave it at that. And I didn't just want to do chips and Pop-Tarts and Rice Krispie treats in my vending machines. I wanted to take it a little bit further. And what I ended up doing was I ended up calling this something called the grocery store concept. So everyone has seen this in every grocery store across the country. This is my Shaw's, which is outrageous. Outrageous. Can we look at this photo for a second? What are they charging for a yogurt parfait? Folks, that's like a 16-ounce container, right? If we get $3.75 for that, wouldn't we all be in the black, right? This is outrageous. They are charging so much for this added convenience. The fact that the person who is on the go can just grab this and go. They have the convenience factor of not having any waste and being able to just open it right up and take a fork. But folks, let's all say it together. Ready? Anything you can do. I know you all said I can do better, right? Anything you can do, I can do better. I said, we're going to make this happen. So what did we do? I put these, and I call this like the magic 12-ounce cup. And I loved these magic 12-ounce cups because I could do so much with them. So just like in the grocery store, they are what? Peeling and cutting into cubes cantaloupe, watermelon, and pineapples here, some melons. We can absolutely do that. And utilizing some of my DoD fresh money, what is my portion cost on this cup that I'm selling for $1.75? About 24 cents. So you can see the huge markup and profit that I am able to do, but I am still undercutting by a lot the grocery store down the road. So we are showing that care. We are able to do things for our students in a different way on site. And what do they think about us? That we're rock stars. Now, listen, okay, we were off program at the time, okay? So don't look at my cedar snack packs in the bottom. I know those are naughty, and we definitely took those out when we went back onto NSLP. So this photo was I think a 2019 photo, and I actually took this photo because I was mad because they didn't put labels on them. But then it ended up being a really good picture for this piece. Someplace else to go and take a look at, not only the grocery store, but I want you to go and take a look at the closest gas station to your high school. The closest gas station to your high school, what are they selling and what price points are they selling those at? If they're selling a 2-count Pop-Tart for $3.50 and you're selling a 1-count Pop-Tart, I know it's Smart Snacks, but even for $1, you know that you're providing a great value to your kids. If there is a gross discrepancy in something that you're selling, definitely consider the market where you live and the fact that this is a price that works for the majority of folks. So the next thing I'll show you, these are our vending machines that we ended up having in Londonderry. The machine on the left is the first generation of our machine. Because I was being cheap and I didn't want to buy too many machines. And I said, all right, well, I'll just put drinks on the bottom. Bad idea, Amanda. Bad idea. Why? Because it was completely inefficient. Now, to put these drinks on the bottom, think about what I had to do as the procedure for that. My procedure for putting drinks on the bottom was that staff member had to go and open that case and take out 4 or 5, because I can only fit 5 back in the depth of this machine. And then they were taking 5 out of this, 5 out of that, putting it on the bottom of their cart with chips and all of the other fresh things on the top. And not only was that cart really heavy, but it was very inefficient because we had to put those in. So eventually I went to the right, which was having a separate beverage machine. And that separate beverage machine saved us a ton of time. We would just throw a bunch, like 4 or 5 of those on a dolly, which is designed for something heavy, right? To be carted down. And of course, there was a little bit of carpet that we had to go down, but it was okay. So we would dolly that down. I would have someone drop it there, and then the person would fill that up, because the more machines we have, the less often we have to fill them. And drinks in the summer in New Hampshire go fast. I will say to you that the reason that I'm able to charge these prices and that we had so much success with this a la carte concept was because we were a very low free and reduced district, 15%. Therefore, it made the most sense for us to go towards an a la carte model. Now, we did a lot of things right here in this 43 one here, you'll see that was a triangle sandwich, which was out of stock at that point. But we did a lot of the salad shaker cups. These other 2 ones are tortellini pasta cups that we would do, trying to cater to our student athletes and our after school folks who were on site, who we didn't have the opportunity to serve at that time. One brand new set of customers that we found, adult ed. We would never see those folks. Now we were offering them food services, dining services. I called it dining on the go. It's very clever. And it was a huge hit for our students, our staff, and they could use their accounts. So we were able to sync this up with our point of sale system. And that's what Vend-ucation does. We work with over 20 different point of sales companies so that students can use the money that their parents put in their accounts. Because number 1, our kids don't have cash. And number 2, if they have any money, they'd way rather use mom and dad's. And mom and dad are fine with that because they know where their kids are and they know that they're getting all of this really great quality things. And guys, this one on the right with the beverage machine, and then this additional took the beverages out, put in more food because we could not keep that stocked during the day. This was right outside the band room, that furthest point away from the cafeteria. And not only did we see the highest number of sales on this unit, but we also had great parent interaction. And our parent interaction was because the band parents don't just drop off their kids at the field and then go away. They're always in the building, like moving things and getting trombones and doing PTA stuff. So they loved us. I even had parents who would use our vending machines. So it was great publicity for what we did. And the perception of school meals was extraordinarily high. Our school board, when they were not loved so well in the papers, would come and serve with us, or would come and curbside feed our community because dining services had such a great reputation. So what does success look like? Success looks like kids smiling, kids eating. When you see sales at 8 o'clock at night on a Friday, and you know that that's when the football team came home from an away game, and then you sold those products to them. But not only does it look like that, it also looks like this, folks. It looks like money in the bank, and that's that unit on the right. So this is at 5 years, -1 for COVID, that one unit, $168,000 in historical cash, which is a number that you cannot manipulate. So I took a picture, and that is what that machine did. So you can see why we were at that point in time the #1 per student for sale per dollar per day in the country, because we were utilizing this grocery store concept. But it took a lot of practice. It took a lot of things that we learned. For example, there are 2 ways to fill a vending machine: the right way and the wrong way. So let's look at this. Our Rice Krispie treats in 24 are stuck between two of the coils. Number 24 is the wrong way. Number 25 is the right way. I tried to explain this 5 times to my staff. I took one picture and then they got it completely. So here's a tip and trick. Here, number 10, these Lay's chips. Oh my gosh, not only is that bag crunched a little bit, but it's also in between 2 of the coils. That's going to sometimes cause them to be stuck. I wasn't worried about that. I have smart vending machines. They have like an optical eye that see that that product was actually dropped. It's like a garage door opener. So that coil will spin 360. If it doesn't drop, it does another 180 degrees, and then it does another 180 for that product to be dispensed. But there's a right way and a wrong way. You also want to think about, oops, I hit the wrong button. You also want to think about actually the visual appeal of that. So like this crunched bag of chips versus this one that is, ready? I always say them, lean back, lean back. Remember that song? Good song. I liked it. But there's so much more you can do rather than a la carte. We can do lunches and lunches and lunches. I know you guys said, oh my, Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. I told you guys that was funny. We can also do reimbursable meals. Not something I personally did in Londonderry, but it's something that is getting to be absolutely huge, because you're able to put those unitized meals and able to put them wherever you want in your school building or outside of your school building. If you have a charter school or another building that you're utilizing vending in, we have done tons and tons of those. So it's a great way for you to sync that up to your point of sale system, so that if little Johnny comes to me in the cafeteria and comes through the lunch line to get his hot dog, and then tries to go to the vending machine, it is actually going to do the same thing and say, I'm so sorry, you've already received your reimbursable meal for today. So it's great to have that technology and that capability. And you're gonna say to me, oh my gosh, Amanda, I don't have time for this. Like this is a food service management company. So they have the really nice logos. I don't have time for that. I just used Avery 30s, guys. Avery 30s, absolutely fantastic. I had a whole book of them with the master copy, and then they would just make a color copy whenever they needed that label, which took me 3 years of people bothering me, asking me to print out labels to figure out that I just needed to give them a master copy. I don't know why. Take all of my pain and use it for your own vending procedures, please. But there's also a lot of schools around the country that are doing lunches made easy. They're doing those pre-portioned packages that are being used. This is a specific company. Can I say this company? I mean, nobody's. This is my webinar, right? Okay. This is ES Foods, which does have those unitized meals, and this is breakfast and lunches. And that's pretty easy, right? So if staffing is a huge concern, this is a great way that you can still do your reimbursable meals. You guys are asking questions. I see I'm getting into the nitty gritty, and I see the buttons lighting up. I've got a couple more minutes. One thing I will say is what's great about our units, our vending machines, is that they are custom configured. So what that means is when you place an order, you get to work with an operations expert, usually me, and we custom design that together because you guys do not want to buy one more item. I know you do not want to buy one more packaging item. You don't want to put out one more RFP. We're going to use whatever you want. Now, for lunches, traditionally what we see is the 8x8 by 3-ish. Everyone has like something like that. Clear clamshell container. And then something like they use here like a 9x3x3, like a sub container for their breakfast, or like a 6x6x3, like a smaller square. That's normally what we see for breakfast and lunches, but this district wanted to use boats. And we said, sure, whatever you want to do, you can do. When you place an order with us, I send this huge survey that I made, and it asks you all of the questions, and then we custom configure and make that together. We've done breakfast, lunch, and a la carte all in the same machine. They can be all different. It is absolutely 100% Burger King. You can have it your way. So you have this amazing program. You have these wonderful vending machines in your schools. Now, what do you do for it? Okay, you need to be your biggest cheerleader. Okay, not only do we need to do great things, but we need to tell people about the great things that we do. And this is extraordinarily difficult, especially for us who are in the service industry to do. We are used to serving our demographic, whether that be students, parents, teachers, but we're really, really bad about telling people what we're doing. It's not boasting. It's not bragging. You need to be 100% your biggest cheerleader because nobody else is going to do it. What you and your staff do is absolutely fantastic, and you need to share it. And you can't say to me, Amanda, I don't have social media. My district won't allow it. That is perfectly fine. Add a blurb to the principal's newsletter. Get it announced on the PA. Anything that you have for branding for your cafeteria, just throw on the go at the end. And then you've got your entire vending department. So we did dining on the go. You can really press upon the ability that you have now added to your department. That is, we are now accessible 24 hours a day. 7 days a week, or after school, before school, when your students are there, they have the ability to have access to their accounts. They have access to fresh food or a la carte snacks. So quick story, I had an intern and she came and she was like, I have a great idea, Amanda. And I was like, Sarah, tell me your great idea. She said, we should do turkey taco meat. And I said, Sarah, we do turkey taco meat. And she said, well, I'm a parent here and I never knew that. And I said, you're right. My bad. So again, we are great about doing great things. We need to go ahead and share it. Teacher emails to parents, send an email to parents, really open up those lines of communication because there is going to be conversations in vending. And I see the question coming up right now is, oh my gosh, kids are in the negative. What am I going to do? Folks, it is exactly the way that you set it up in your point of sale is what goes into the vending machine. So for example, what we see across the country, what I did in my program, if you're in the negative or that purchase will put you in the negative, I'm so sorry, tiny human, you may not have that a la carte purchase. So whatever you have in your point of sale definitely goes into your vending machine. For example, my personal account, I was always in the negative. So I allowed my account to allow charges, and that depends on your point of sale if you're able to override specifically with an individual account. but I could with mine. And I was in the negative because I used to buy goldfish for church. So I always had, like I was $2 off. So what else can we do? Principals do, PTO emails, the parent teacher organization. Those are great people to reach out to. A lot, as you guys know, super active in the lower grades, not as much in the secondary, but again, a great resource. School newspapers, have them do your marketing, have them do a poll, have them ask the students. They're always looking for ways to partner with you, and any press is good press, but in food service, we prefer it to be positive. So definitely take a look at those options. So let's talk about some national trends. One national trend, as I can say, is the return of focus for a la carte sales. And again, this is people who have not done a la carte sales since pre-pandemic, who are 100% focused on that hot meal service, on lunch counts, on giving those students options. That a la carte falls by the wayside. And I am guaranteeing, even if you have a la carte on your line, you're still losing some sales from those individuals who perhaps bring a lunch or who do not want to wait in the line, because 5 minutes is 5 minutes or 7 minutes or 3 minutes. It is still an investment of their social time to get to those a la carte sales. So definitely seeing a lot of the return to dry vending, which is perfectly acceptable. We can definitely help with those. Another national trend that I'm definitely seeing is the elimination of cash payments. And that sounds fine. If you want to not take cash, I don't want to deal with people filling with cash being accessible. I don't want to deal with change because there's like a national change shortage. I don't want to deal with that, Amanda. I don't want to do cash. No problem. We don't have to do cash. You could just do accounts through whatever point of sale that you're using. They could just use those accounts. We also have the ability to put hardware on there, which runs off of a cellular service. It will actually take all of your digital payments. We'll take credit cards, debit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, all the digital wallet pays, because I'm sorry, folks, that's how I pay for everything in life. I travel all over the country. The last time I did this presentation, I was 3,000 miles away from my home in California, and I believe I had $1 to my name. So I couldn't have even gotten anything from a vending machine. But I always have my credit cards, and if all else fails and I leave my wallet at home, I've got Apple Pay in my hands at all times. Well, this is attached to my wrist, but I always have access to a digital payment option. And don't worry, folks, you do not need to sign up to be a merchant account. That is the number one question I see it coming in. You do not need to sign up as a merchant account, which is a nightmare. Take it from me, because I did it in my school and it was a pain. And then they ask all these questions during an AR. So don't do it. We will run everything through our system. Just like at the gas station, we can do 2 separate payments. So you don't want to cut in to your profits with a student choosing to use a digital payment. So we can do a 2 set price. So just like when you go to the gas station, if you pay cash, it's one price, and credit, it's another. A bag of chips with cash or through your account is $1. A bag of chips with Apple Pay, your credit card, your swipe is $1.10. And that 10 cents is going to cover all of your merchant account fees. Your deposit will be deposited into your account weekly, just like it is with your point of sale. So you guys already have this process, so don't be afraid of it. The process already occurs with your point of sale, whatever they have for parent payments, right? The parents pay, and that money gets dropped into your account probably weekly or monthly. Same exact thing here. You would just run a report and you reconcile it to make sure that what the parents actually paid, or your customers in this instance are paying, actually matches up there. So super easy. Don't be afraid. It works. It's great. And then I had something else to say about this, and I don't remember. Oh, did you know this? I just went to a hockey game, a Bruins game, not the playoffs, but go Bruins. Did you know that TD Garden does not take any cash payments? You cannot use cash at any of their concession stands. So not only is this a national trend that we're seeing in school food service, it is a national trend that we're seeing across the country where they're eliminating cash payments. So we are absolutely on trend. The last national trend is my favorite trend, the universal school meals at no cost. And we are seeing this in so many states across the country. I am absolutely thrilled to be adding to the post-it list I have on my wall of schools that have approved this for next school year. So with this comes the conversation of, now we're universally free. We're still short staffed. How are we going to get meals to our kiddos? And the great way you can do that is through vending. You can put these machines wherever you like to vend breakfast meals, to vend lunch meals, to even vend supper meals. You're able to do all of that and more with these units because you can fill them whenever you want, and students can access your programs away from the cafeteria, within the cafeteria, any time of day. Well, that fits in with your standards because, you know, there's that 2 o'clock rule for lunches. But then we have a lot of schools that if they do supper and they use a meal, that will then transition into supper, and then they'll just change it in their point of sale system. It's pretty brilliant. So I am almost perfect. This alarm is going off in 2 seconds. We're going to go to a quick survey. And while you guys look at and check, it just rang. I'm doing so great. I hope Jim is watching. That's the boss. Hi, Jim. We're going to go to a quick poll before I go to questions and answers. And I want you guys to look at this lovely poll. And this poll is asking you, what is the best application for vending? I wrote us twice, and I apologize. And you can pick multiple things. Do you think breakfast is the way to go? Do you think lunch, supper, a la carte? I want all the things, Amanda. Check all of them. Just wondering what you guys are thinking out there. One other thing I will say before I go to questions is for breakfast, and that is take a look at how many kiddos, especially if you're universal, universal at no cost. Definitely take a look at those kiddos that are not coming in on time. One of our districts who's going to do some vending in the Midwest, I think it's Utah or maybe it's Idaho. I don't know. It's a short name state. They did a study and they found out that they had over 1,000 kids coming in late to the high school for breakfast. Ooh, well, that is a lot of meals that you're missing because those kids are sleeping, right? So putting a breakfast machine right where they check into the late office is a great way for them to capture those breakfast students and to allow them to access their program outside of the timing. And as you folks know, when you're getting ready for lunch, there's nothing worse than someone else coming in and saying, I need a breakfast, because then you have to stop what you're doing, go find out what you have left over. Oh, we ran out of Cocoa Puffs, so we only have Cheerios. And then the child is very sad. Just go up to the vending machine, get what you want, and then you can continue being uber efficient in your lunch service. Okay, want to see the survey results? Let's all look at them together, shall we? Oh my gosh, guys, a la carte. Absolutely 100%. A la carte is the best way to get a return on your investment of equipment the quickest. And that's something we didn't talk about, but this equipment purchase is very different from other equipment purchases that you have, because when we purchase equipment, we're buying serving lines and we're buying spoodles and things. But this has a solid return on your investment. This actually has numbers and data that's going to be you're going to be able to pull up and show to your business administrator, because you're going to be able to say, we invested X number of dollars in our vending program, and as a result, we have X number of dollars coming in as revenue. We have X number of dollars coming in as the P word that we like, which is profit, right? But we also have a lot of people that are interested in other meals. 23% supper meals. That's fantastic, folks. I didn't realize there were so many supper programs and so many people interested in supper until we really started talking about it. So that's absolutely fantastic. Now, the great thing is that we can do all of these things in one machine, or 17. So you definitely have so many options. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at some of these questions, and I'm going to get to as many questions as I can in the next 11 minutes. And then if I don't get to your question, and I apologize in advance, here is my cell phone. Please don't leave me a voicemail, because I hate voicemails. Text me, but send me an email. Like that's like totally on point. Don't call me right now because it's on silent. But please send me information, send me your question, and I will answer that. Okay. All right. So the first question I see is from Nicole. Nicole, who I already emailed today. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Nicole, what's the average time it takes for a purchase? And depending on the purchase, it will take something different. So if the purchase is through one of our if vended meals, if it's using an elevator machine, the average time it takes is 30 seconds. And that's 30 seconds if they're doing two-step identification. So they're putting in their PIN number, then they're putting in their birthday. So we make sure that that student is actually that student. And then they make that selection. 30 seconds. I've got the video to prove it. I can send it to you. We sell meals. There's been a meal shut-off time per regulations. Yes, you set that up in your point of sale system. You can even set up times to turn off the machine if, for example, you have a principal like mine who did not want to set us to sell anything between I think it was like 10 and 12. He wanted those turned off. So you can absolutely turn those off, and then you can change those sessions. Who's texting me? I told you guys not to text me yet. There's more questions here. Can the machines be set on a timer? Yes, Cheryl, we can set that on a timer. Other districts has vending machines that are used for fundraising. This is a great question. Okay, this is a great question, and I'm going to answer it in a very, very sneaky way. That one very large district that I'm not going to tell you what district it is, but I will tell you that they run their vending program outside of their NSLP. So they run it just on a la carte only, and they run it under a separate budget number. Now they use that separate budget number, and they actually have those revenues that come into that separate account. And from that account, they actually take a portion of that and give that percentage to that principal or that fundraiser. So the answer is, when you hook up your vending unit to account sales, you're going to increase your vending sales anywhere from 100 to 200% or plus, because you're not just doing cash, you're doing accounts. Also, you're now vending and taking over that service. So instead of someone like driving to your school and servicing that vending machine once a week, once a month, however often they get there, you guys are there every day. So you're going to have a lot more care. You're going to see that. You're going to have kids come and say, when are you going to fill the vending machine? But if you have enough units, that doesn't happen. So the answer is that you're going to increase that money. So guaranteed, whatever they're getting paid from as a fundraising from that operator that comes and fills it like once a month or twice a month, you're going to be able to give them that $100 a year they get, or $100 a month or whatever, and you can take it from that account. That is how that school district, very large school district, does that. Just food for thought. So what are other things that I see here? Okay, I have a question about bid process requirements and quotes. As we know, 3 quotes is usually the magic number. The answer is that you can get quotes on our units from other folks. We do have a sole source agreement with a lot of point of sales companies. If you're interested, just shoot me an email and I will send you sole source documentation. So what we have had extraordinarily large success with is sending this magic sentence to your Department of Ed, that this equipment purchase is an extension of our previously procured and awarded point of sale contract, because we have exclusivity of the equipment that syncs with your point of sale, which means they won't support you buying a vending unit off the street and putting something on it that it could try to connect to their point of sale. They're not going to support that. So when you call them on the phone, they're going to say, I'm so sorry, have a great day. If anyone wants more information on that, let me know. 3 quotes. You guys can get those 3 quotes. And what I tell folks is, we know what this is all about, right? You need to do your due diligence. So what I say is, you keep a copy of the emails that you sent. And I've got a few other vending companies that do work nationally. They don't specialize in schools. They might try to sell you a vending machine that is a different type of vending machine that we do, because it's a lower quality. Basically, our units are very smart. Like I said, I just installed one, and I was up in Winnisquam, New Hampshire yesterday, and I was telling them about the iVend technology, that guaranteed delivery, where it keeps turning if it doesn't come down, and they're like, this is so much better than our other ones. And I said, I know, right? But you're going to want to be careful about that. But keep those emails, even keep the phone calls that you make. Sometimes they won't return your phone calls, or they won't reply to an RFP, because they know they're not going to win the school service, or they know that they don't sync with your point of sale. So it is a possibility for you to do, and I can be helpful and share the list of the people who have replied to RFPs in the past, so that you can fulfill your procurement requirements. I've also helped districts. I'm working with one state right now, because with their Department of Ed, getting vending getting vending approved, kind of through their processing at the state level as well. There are 2 FNS memos specifically on vending machines. I'm happy to share those with anyone if they would like to see that. Okay, milk. Great question. Now, milk is a very good question. There are 5 ways that people do milk across the country in vending machines, and I'll share those with you. So you saw within in the presentation that one of our units had milk in every single one. Okay, you can do that. You can put milk in every single one. You can put white milk here, chocolate milk here, strawberry milk, whatever kind of milk you want to put. We've had districts that say, Amanda, we did that, and the trash can was full of milk. And then the custodian was mad because the trash can was full, and we all know the drill, right? So other districts have, I have one district in Nebraska that puts a ticket in their meal, and they can turn in that ticket for a milk through the line that's right there. I have another district that just has the milk that is just a grab and go in an insulated bag that is by the vending machine. I have another district that does offer versus serve actually in the machine. So picture the entire row. It's like 4 selections of turkey sandwiches. One turkey sandwich has chocolate milk, one has regular milk, the other 2 have nothing. There's another district that does it where they actually have the milk as a separate transaction for $0 on your account. So you would make your transaction, you would get your meal, and then if you wanted a milk, you could do a separate transaction for that item. Now it is going to be another 30 seconds for that elevator to come up. Oh, I didn't show you guys the elevator. Should have showed you the elevator. So we have to vend those meals out. We actually have an elevator that comes up, pushes that item out, and then gently lowers that down, because we can't have any spills, right? I don't want any spills. I never had a spill in my machines. 5 years, okay? And I was doing everything from yogurt parfaits to salad shaker cups. I went the extra mile because I'm kind of a control freak, and put some tape on the top. We were taping a fork to the side of that fruit salad cup anyway, so putting a piece of tape on the top was not really that much of an extra step, so it worked really well for our level of efficiency. If anyone has questions about the milk process, I have it all written out. I'm happy to send it to you. Just shoot me an email and let me know. Oh, someone says I'm funny. Thank you so much, Greg. I'll be sharing that with my mom and my husband, because he does not think I'm funny. Are your machines set up to allow students to use school food service accounts? Yes, like free, reduced, and full pay. Absolutely, 100%. We will sync with your point of sale company. We sync with over 20 across the country. So that means if you are currently using a point of sale and you switch to another point of sale in 3 or 4 years, your vending machine will move with you, because we can move with that technology. So that's fantastic. So anyone who bought another vending machine from a different company that you couldn't use it after 2 years when you switch to somebody else, it's not going to happen with us. Leave those feelings at the door. Oh my gosh, how are we doing on time? You guys, I have 30 more seconds. I can take one more question. And Bernie, you asked if I have a sample of that sheet. Send me an email that says, what's that sheet? Monitoring food temperatures, excellent question. In our refrigerated units, the answer is yes. We have a security system on there that when it falls above 40 degrees, that you get an email. And then I think there's like 30 different levels of escalation that it can go to the cafeteria manager. Then after 20 minutes, it'll go to the cafeteria manager again. Then it can go to the manager and the area supervisor, and then so and so and so and so that that happens. If your unit is above 40 degrees for at 4 hours, it turns it off, which I can attest to as a school district where we had these magical thing called snow days. And during those snow days, we would sometimes lose power. So when we got back into the school that next day, when we're trying to scramble and get everything ready for breakfast, we didn't have to worry about pulling all that stuff out of the vending machine so no one got sick, because we knew that those vending machines were all off. We could focus on serving breakfast, and we would get to the vending machines, pull out that product, and swap that out. Whew! That was an hour, folks. An hour. I want to be so respectful of your time and say thank you so much for joining us. I hope you learned so much about vending. I can share so much more with you. I will get back to everyone who put their questions in. Here's all of my information. I am more than happy to meet with you one-on-one, talk to your team. I've met with school board members, principals, student councils. We are here for you. I hope that you are interested in adding vending services to your school district to service your kiddos. You would be doing them an absolute service by expanding everything out. And as you log off today, I'm going to play some country music because it's my webinar, and I'm just going to wait and see if anyone has any last minute questions they want to throw into the queue. So thank you again, guys, so much for joining us today. No, my office never looks this cute, and I did put on makeup for you today. You're welcome. Have a great day.
My pleasure.
Oh, you're welcome, Siri.